Hello, we are here today at the Senior Friendship Center in Sarasota with the Director of Caregiving Services, Paula Falk, and we're talking about caregiver services, right? We're talking about caregiver support groups this week on the blog, and that's what you guys were created to do, right? So Paula's going to tell us a little bit more about their services and how they help. So tell us about the Senior Friendship Center.
Great, thanks. Well, caregiving services, which I will focus on only, is the umbrella of those services include the Adult Day Service Program and then support services for caregivers. And the Friendship Center has been doing adult day programs for a very long time.
Yeah.
But caregiving services is something, and I think we've been working with people for over 14 years in this actual area to provide education support, make people aware of resources, so that they can be successful as they, are in the continuum of care. People, certainly the day program is intended to help families be able to keep their loved ones at home as long as possible, but recognizing that there are lots of things that need to happen in order for caregivers to be able to, to take care of themselves. I mean, it's very straightforward, but it's very truthful.
And you were saying earlier that it actually was the first in the nation, official day program, right?
Yeah,
which is
freestanding.
Freestanding.
So I think that's the uniqueness, that Brother Geenan was this visionary, and he knew that when people were here, when illness occurred, they were struggling. Support systems were north, and so he recognized that, and the day programs of this building was started, and there were day programs in churches or community centers, but freestanding as a specialty is what we've been doing for a very long time,
which is incredible.
So it's great.
And for the caregiving services specifically, do you need to be a member of the Friendship Center? Like, how do people that want to take advantage of some of these programs, does it cost money? How do they sign up for them?
Mm-hmm. Well, for the day program, there is a cost for our services, but we also have contracts and agreements with a variety of opportunities for payment. So if somebody has long-term care insurance, or if somebody needs support from the state, there's, we are a vendor for the Area Agency on Aging. We also have a contract with the VA, so we can serve veterans. And Medicaid long-term care programs. So there's a variety of funding sources that people can understand and put into place to be able to pay for this kind of care. And of course, private pay. A lot of people, it's more affordable than a lot of other choices for individuals. So that's the day program. And we have three day programs, one in Venice, here the Sarasota one where we're at today, and we actually have one in Fort Myers. So
So I didn't know about Fort Myers.
It's in a different kind of environment, but it's a wonderful atmosphere for those participants as well. So we have one central call line, which I think was something that we went to a couple years ago. I love the fact that all of our calls are maintained in one area, and when a person makes a call to the Caregiver Resource Center, we ask them what's going on with them. They don't always know. They're not calling for something specific, and those people that do, then we can give them that information. But people call because they're struggling.
Like, I don't know who else to call, but maybe they can point in the right direction, even what questions to ask. I mean, we find that all the time in what we do too. I mean, sometimes it's just an ear that's going to listen and work through it with them, of saying, hey, let's point you in some different directions.
I totally agree.
That in itself is an incredible, service to provide.
So once that call is made, then we listen to what they're needing. We also have people that walk in. That's, and sometimes we have to say to somebody, listen, we'll schedule a time to meet with you. We could have a couple of people do that at the same, it always happens at the same time, but we attend to them, and we in follow up. And so it's about educating them to the fact that we have support groups here, and that the day program is available, but it's also making them aware of community resources, because all of those phone calls are not, that they're not services necessarily that we're gonna provide.
Exactly.
But it's what the family needs. And
totally.
that's what's mission, it's a mission-driven kind of aspect.
Absolutely, and that's kind of what's missing. We feel the exact same way. A lot of the calls that we field, just meeting people on their journey. We're so lucky in our area to have so many resources.
Absolutely.
But when you're in the thick of it, how do you find them?
Right.
Where do you even start to look, right? Especially if somebody isn't really computer savvy either,
Right.
or online. So a lot of that is just pointing people in different directions. And as it relates to caregiver support groups specifically, because that's what we are highlighting too on the blog, you are actually the one, I guess, mediating or moderating.
Yeah, facilitate.
There you go. That's the word we were looking for. I was like, facilitating those groups, right?
Yeah. Well, I facilitate several, but I also have trained volunteers that have wonderful backgrounds and have the skill set and understand caregiving. So we're able to offer a variety of support groups. And when I mentioned that people call us and we give them information, I think the power of the support group is encouraging people then to take action.
Right.
Because the groups are, the benefit is that you've got experts in the room, that individuals either have been where somebody's at or have suggestion. I liken it to solution seeking. I think that people say, this is what's going on in my life. I don't know how to handle this. Whether it's something that's emotional or they don't know how to handle a behavior or whatever it might be, then individuals in the group will share, well, this is how I approached it, and I found this to be a great success. I had group this morning, and just walking out of the group, I can reflect back and think, oh my goodness, there were so many suggestions and ideas to support individuals with the challenges they're facing.
Totally.
And,
it's incredible.
Right?
And then the main part of it, and then also just knowing that you're not alone when you say something that you're like, they're waiting for the shock and awe, and everybody's like, like the nods of approval of like, yeah, absolutely, we are walking that same path or have walked in that same path.
Yeah, and the other thing that I really encourage people is to not go where they're not at. And it may be that they're not going to experience the same kind of thing, that they have their own relationships, their own supports, but being able to recognize the strengths and positives that they do have, and encouraging them. And people asking for help is a huge thing. So we spend some time really discussing that and the value and importance of letting people know that care for you, that really want to help you. So the dynamics are wonderful, and the relationships that are developed then become long-standing. We just had an event a few weeks ago, and there were several caregivers that became friends. That once their loved ones died, they began to travel together, to do theater, to go to the theater, to go and to make that life transition for themselves. So it's
support on so many levels. It's not just support during that hour. It's support outside and as things move on. Well, what you guys are doing here is incredible. What you do is incredible. If you have not checked out the Senior Friendship Center or called or reached out to them to find out some of their services where they can support you as a caregiver or a loved one in your life, please do. Like Paula said, there's locations in Venice, here in Sarasota, and now Fort Myers, or just support groups in Fort Myers?
No, there's a day program.
There's a day
Fort
program
Myers,
too.
but the support groups are really Sarasota County. And we publish a monthly newsletter.
Awesome.
And I just kicked off a class we're doing called Caregiver 101. So that's an exciting opportunity, I think, to help caregivers as well.
So many things. Well, we hope you enjoyed, and please reach out to us. As always, if you are a caregiver, you have a loved one that needs any support, that we can be getting you in touch with resources like the Senior Friendship Center. We will see you soon.